In the wake of Las Vegas, the story breaks cleanly into two threads. Deegan's self-declared die-trying pursuit of the 250 SMX crown ending with a broken collarbone, an AMA penalty, and near-certain withdrawal from the motocross of nations. And Jett Lawrence, fresh off another title, waving off any notion that Deegan is even on his competitive radar as he stacks himself against Hunter Chase and Eli in the 450 class. Let's start with the paper trail. After repeated contact in the second moto with championship leader Joe Shimoda, the AMA applied the escalation it had already warned about. Deegan had a written warning on the books from Denver Supercross for the bump on teammate Cole Davies during a lead battle. Per the rulebook, the next strike carries a 5-point deduction and a fine. That's what happened here, and it nudges Deegan from 4th to 5th in the final SMX standings, a cosmetic change to the box score compared to the real cost. The real cost is medical and immediate. Deegan's last-ditch block attempt put both riders on the ground. Shimoda remounted and secured the plate, while Deegan stood slowly, signaling pain in the left shoulder and, as confirmed after the event, a fractured clavicle that required surgery. There's already a photo circulating from post-op, and Deegan himself laid out the plan in plain language. He told himself he'd die trying to win this championship. The collarbone is broken, surgery Monday, then try to fast-track therapy to make Team USA at Ironman, because that would be huge. It's admirable resolve, and it tracks with the kid's entire brand. Fast, ferocious, unflinching, but the calendar is unmoved. 2 weeks from a clavicle procedure to a 3-moto team event on deep, ruddy late season soil is, in practical terms, a medical long shot. Even a straightforward fracture stabilized with plating needs time for pain control, range of motion, and race-level load bearing through braking bumps, whoops, and landings. That's not an indictment of his toughness. It's a reminder that biology doesn't care about press conferences. If he is indeed out, it strips Team USA of a key MX two-piece and forces a late-stage rethink of a roster that was built to win on home soil. It also gives this season a hard, instructive edge for Deegan as he steps toward the 450 class. Aggression remains a weapon only when it's paired with execution and a margin for error. The last 2 weeks, Denver's warning, Charlotte's weather-shortened points haul, Vegas's penalty and surgery, compressed that lesson into HD. None of it erases what he did right this year. He made every gate drop since turning pro, stacked wins, and carried the kind of pace and presence that bends race days around him. The arc is intact. The next bend is about refinement. Turn the same will to win into repeatable craft under title pressure, so the story ends with trophies and respect in equal measure. That's what separates a champion from a great one, and it's still well within reach for a 19-year-old with this much ceiling. Meanwhile, the other half of the headline is almost the opposite tone, cold, clinical, and dismissive. Jett Lawrence, having just caught and passed Eli Tomac under pressure to lock down another 450 SMX title, was asked about the looming rivalry with Deegan and barely looked up from the Premier League roll call in front of him. Honestly, he has got a lot of other people to worry about than me. I have to worry about Hunter, Chase, and Eli, so honestly, he is not really on my radar. I am focusing on the guys I am racing right now because they are riding really well. It's a different league on the 450. It ain't much of a rivalry if you keep beating the kid. Strip the sting from a soundbite, and you have a simple competitive truth. On the 450 side, Jett's world is constructed around Hunter's emergence, Sexton's outright speed when healthy, and Tomac's championship aura. It's a small, brutal circle, and until Deegan joins it full-time, he's a future problem, not a present one. The subtext is that Lawrence controls narratives by controlling outcomes. The best way to avoid a rivalry is to keep winning in the class that sets the sport's tone. It's also worth noting that Shimoda, the man in the middle of Deegan's Vegas bid, handled his own post-race moment with a professional deadpan. He said Deegan told him, "You are never going to know what's about to come," and responded with a line that landed like a jab, "I don't speak English." Then he went out, kept his starts crisp, sprinted to spacing, and closed the series with enough composure that even his last corner pass, admittedly unnecessary for the title, felt like punctuation, not provocation. The historical note matters too. This is the first Japanese rider to claim an SMX crown, a milestone that will echo well beyond this offseason. Back to Jett for a moment, because the finish deserves the last word. The season ended the way it began, with Lawrence at the top of the sports food chain. Moto 1 was a masterclass in pace control. Moto 2 required something different, a mid-race recalibration, and a relentless chase that eventually broke Tomac's defense and flipped the night 1-2. That combination, win from a front, win from a hunt, is why the trophies keep coming and why a press room quip hits as hard as a hole shot. The quote has teeth because the lap chart backs it up. So the final picture is clear even as it's complicated. Deegan had surgery and, despite public determination, is highly unlikely to make MXON in 2 weeks, an outcome that underlines how fast the margins close when aggression outpaces execution. The AMA's 5-point penalty enforces a standard the rulebook promised months ago and nudges his season down a slot, but the real consequence is the rehab timeline. JETT Lawrence, newly crowned again, isn't building a Deegan rivalry. He's guarding his 450 hill against Hunter, Sexton, and Tomac, and that's where his focus will stay until someone forces it elsewhere. Shimoda leaves with what he came for, the plate, and the first SMX world title for Japan. And the rest of us leave with a simple takeaway that's been true since the first gate fell. In a 3-round playoff with massive bonuses and a triple points finale, the only way to be bigger than the moment is to be cleaner than the moment. Vegas rewarded the riders who were. Which brings us back to the headline. Deegan had surgery and is out of MXON. Lawrence isn't building his 2026 plans around him. Both can be true without being terminal. Deegan's brand is built on force and fearlessness. The next layer has to be judgment. Lawrence's brand is built on control. The next test is absorbing a full-strength Sexton, a healthy Tomac, and a rookie 450 class pumped up by the same marketing gravity Deegan brings. And in the short term, Team USA has a roster to patch. With Deegan out and Sexton's status uncertain after his own crash, the Americans need a replacement at MX2 and a clear decision on the MXGP/open balance. That choice should be roll first, name second, starts and reliability over hype, 3 clean scorecards over 1 viral moment. That's the difference between hoping to win the Chamberlain Trophy and putting yourself in position to do it when the gate actually drops. For now, Vegas leaves us with a lesson, a landmark, and a line in the sand. Deegan played the only card left and paid for it. Shimoda made history. JETT Lawrence closed his season as he started it. The next chapter starts in the clinic, the test track, and a team meeting room where the fastest decision might be the calmest one.